Louisiana is my home. I drink my whiskey all alone. Temptation got me on the run. Mama's son don't hurt no one. Don't want no trouble. Don't want no trouble. But trouble find me. Trouble find me. With nothing going right. Yeah, no hope is left inside. I should be praying to the Lord. Don't wanna bother him tonight. Don't want no trouble. Don't want no trouble. But you know trouble find me. Trouble find me. Well, I wish I could move on. Redemption too far gone. Now I'm left with an empty bottle and an aching head. You don't ever wanna be where I've been or will be. 'Cause when I'm down, and I'm always down, trouble find me. I can't take it no more. This knock, knock, knocking on my door. When nothing's on the other side, but still I'm always open wide. And I don't want no trouble. Don't want no trouble. Yeah, trouble find me. Trouble find me. So come on, trouble find me. And I believe we are live. Can everybody hear me out there? Just want to make sure you can hear me okay. Plank and Byrne could be a great duo, just saying, from Kate Howard. Somebody out there, let me know you can hear me. Welcome. We are now live on Austin Music TV, which is channel 16 in Austin on your cable channel, and it's channel 99 on ATTUverse. We're also on Facebook. Turning up the audio a little bit. Thank you, Danielle. Let's see. We got Facebook, and we've got Twitch, and we've got YouTube, and we've got Twitter/Periscope. And as usual, we got a great guest for you today. It's going to be a big month. I don't know how many of you saw the Austin 360 or the cover of the Statesman today, but a big thanks to Peter Blackstock and Austin 360 for promoting this show and my nightly show From Here to There. All right, I like to hear loud and clear in the UK. I like hearing that. We got some friends from across the pond for sure today, and things are making me pretty happy. As always, everybody should know that I will be splitting the tips with my guest today, and I'll put this up here so you know. And so thanks very much for that in advance. That's how we keep the wheels going. You keep the underemployed musicians going at this point. Also, thanks to everybody who signed up for my Patreon this month. The new songs are out, and I put an extra song and an extra video in there just for you. Some couple co-writes from Miles Zuniga, and a couple of there's an extra video in there featuring the Resentments, and believe it or not, my first ever Beatles cover, which is daunting, and I never thought I would do such a thing, but came up with a little version of an old song called Wait, and went with that. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce today's guest, and I don't know what to say about this cat, except for the first time I heard him, I really fell in love with the music and really had a blast. Just hang out with him a few times. He is an inspired singer, and you're going to get to know him a little bit more right now. Here's our friend, everybody, Pat Byrne. Hello, Pat.
Hello, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Uh-oh. I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Let's check the volume. Can anybody else hear him? People out there, tell me if you can hear Pat Byrne. Hi, Kate Fleming. How you doing? It might just be my earbuds. I bet it is, and I have to, like, reset them. Okay.
Adrian can hear me, he says.
Probably mine. This is just how this goes sometimes, everybody.
Hayden
sometimes
can hear me.
You gotta start them over. Everybody hears Pat. It's that touch of unprofessionalism that makes me so lovable.
I guess I should take over.
I know. Here come the earbuds again. If I don't do the earbuds, then it's, what do you call it? Well, then it's bad.
Can you still not hear me?
On real quick.
All right. I'm going to wait.
All right. Audio output. Jeff Plankenhorn's earbuds. Hi there. Now I can hear you, Pat.
You hear me?
Oh, man. That's just... It's so fantastic to have you.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm glad you can hear me now.
I always love to say, when somebody says, we love having you, I always like to say, I love being had.
I do love being had.
Don't you? I mean, in many ways. It's a very Peter Sellers kind of joke. I don't know. It's my kind of thing. So first, let's start out with. We see some other guests here. Okay, Bonita's here and Danielle is here, and Mary Eggers says hi, Pat. ATX Quintero, of course, who is our famed illustrator and graphic artist buddy, who's just smoking. Check him out on Twitch as well if you get a chance. You can link to my stuff to check out our friend Adrian.
I watched Adrian yesterday doing like a 3. I only saw like about 30 minutes of it, but he was doing some poster art for me. It happened to be my art, and he was drawing live for like 4 hours, I think, and it was incredible. You really appreciate the time and skill it takes.
This is one of the coolest things about this horrible bad situation that we're in, is that people are getting really creative about it.
Yeah.
And they're coming up with things like that. You know, a cat. We're talking, of course, about Adrian Quintero, who feel free to put in the comments stuff, my friends, so people can find you. You know, I'll get up on Sunday morning and listen to him DJ. And he'll put some stuff in the background, and my wife keeps going, Shazam that. Shazam that too.
Yeah.
Did you Shazam that? You know, and making sure that we know about, like, kind of hip music, because we get stuck in our own vein, you know what I mean? Because we're like focused on songwriting and everybody we listen to, all that stuff. Our buddy Kevin is there, and you're going to do a Fuller session with Pat tomorrow. Is that that's a really, really cool thing too. Kevin, feel free to put up that link as well in the comments, and it'll share around. Anyway, Austin Music TV, thank you, Sheila Steele, for putting this out on the cable channels, and we're super happy to have you. I'll start out with one of my softballs. I usually wait until way in the show to do this before I get to these other questions that come, because people who don't know, I started this during the pandemic, and it wanted to be just a thing that was free for people online who were locked up and stuff like that. We get questions from musicians, we get questions from people who just love music, sometimes we get technical questions. I only have one question that I ask guests, one, and that is, what is your guilty pleasure music? The folks out there know that mine. Now, I have on authority, because I've seen some past videos, you may or may not have played drums in the past. And you may or may have not played drums in a little bit of a aggressive kind of way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that still your guilty pleasure, or is it more like what's your guilty pleasure music?
I don't know if I have guilty pleasures right now, but I feel guilt about some of the pleasures I've had in the past, like you just
such
mentioned.
As?
Well,
metal.
I shouldn't feel guilty, because that's like where most musicians my age get their start. And so I played in metal bands I started playing drums when I was 11. I was in a local metal band, and then moved on to like a very pop punk kind of image based thing that I did for a few years, which I don't regret it. It was so much fun, but I don't want to be sending around photos of me in that band.
Please tell me about the image. Please tell me what the image was.
I wish I had some photos I could show you.
Tell me. Did you have matching suits? Was it Devo, or was it like Kraftwerk, or what was it?
Well, to fully understand, you need to know I'm from a tiny village in the southeast of Ireland. There's like 1,000 of us. Pop punk hadn't made it there really, but we were trying to bring it to life, and we all wore our skinny jeans, and I gelled my hair, the fringe down like this.
This is not so bad.
It is bad. But
okay, I'd have to see it, and then I would feel that way. Okay.
Yeah, I lived through it, and it's okay. And then obviously, I love an ABBA song. I think ABBA are great.
There we go. See, now that's what we're talking about. It's not really a guilty pleasure. By the way, I always apologize in advance. Something about this medium and the fact that I talk too much means that I interrupt a lot. So I apologize in advance when it happens. An ABBA song. See, that's perfect. You are an avid ABBA fan. You love an ABBA song when it comes on.
Avid is a strong word, but I appreciate that pop writing, because like those choruses are on beat. Like, it's solid songwriting, and
it's a lot of good falsetto too. There's a lot of good singing qualities.
Yeah, I was watching an episode of Community. Do you know the show Community, Dan Harmon?
Yes, I do. We've seen it. Yeah.
I love Community, and there's an episode where the PA system it's like locked in with just ABBA music, and it's supposed to be this torturous thing, and I was like, I'd probably be okay with that for a few hours.
I could get through a day, you know? Mm-hmm. And feel free, everyone, in the comments. I know you guys like to put in your guilty pleasures, because mine, I mention every week, is that I grew up on Stevie Wonder, but I also grew up on Barry Manilow.
Right.
So I get kind of torn when like Can't Smile Without You comes on, or Ready to Take a Chance Again, and I'm not embarrassed. It's not really a guilty pleasure. It's just kind of like when I was 4, it was in the background, So, but I've had some really, really, really good ones on here, and people have asked. All right, so most of the time I take these questions from the people who are texting in either on any of the chats, and it aggregates in this one place, so it's pretty cool. And I got some really, really great questions. Now, you just went and recorded in Nashville.
Yes.
With a producer that a lot of us know, name of Billy Harvey. And Billy, if you guys don't know, just some random things. Producing and playing guitar for Bob Schneider before I joined the band. He was a big part of the album I'm Good Now, and he was a big part of the album The Californian. And what's that other guy? The guy from Mississippi who's so great. He did a really one, Dark Side of the Moon. That's a great album. Not Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd, but
Yeah, I was just going to say Pink Floyd.
Listen to the Dark Side of the Moon was the song. Somebody will put it in there. I think either Danielle or Susan would know the name of the person I'm talking about. Anyway, so you went to Nashville during the pandemic to record at the Sound Emporium, which is just an absolutely... I mean, I saw... Oh Brother, We're Out There. I saw them record Man of Constant Sorrow in there. And I was behind the board and I watched.
Why were you there? Were you on that soundtrack?
No, there was a bunch of. They were trying to get me on, but I got a call from a buddy who said, "Hey, you got to get down there. They're doing Stanley Brothers tunes." And I was like, "Great!" And I got in my little Geo Prism and I ran down and I was writing lyrics and I got there and Dan Tyminski was singing and I was like, "Yeah, they're not going to ask me." You know? So I hung out behind the board with T-Bone and a couple other people and I watched them record. So Sound Emporium, back to you. The Sound Emporium is a really, really, really incredible studio, kind of over by Belmont, and it's just an incredible place to play. And I know you're going to do. Oh, thank you, Danielle. Charlie Mars. That's another great record. I love it.
Ah, yes, yeah.
So you were there recording during the pandemic. What, a couple of weeks ago, and you plan on doing a Kickstarter to get this record out. So let's talk just a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, it's a weird time to do it, but initially we had planned to do the album in March, and it was going to be the Sound Emporium. It was with Billy. It was all set in place, and then obviously the rug was pulled out from under everybody, and I was heartbroken because I was so excited. These songs are like, some of them are 2 years old, and I was really...
Yeah.
But it didn't happen, and it's been a blessing because I've written the bulk of the album since then, like since quarantine has been imposed on us. So I have like maybe 6 of the songs that are going to be on the album were written since March. So it's been a blessing in disguise. Yeah.
Okay.
And so then we finally got to go up early August. So I've been back like 3 weeks now, and it was magic. I'd never seen that studio. I didn't even want to look at Google images of it because I wanted that moment of walking in. And Billy kind of warned me against looking at photos. He was like, "You're going to love it. Let's keep it a special moment." And I walked in, and it was just a beautiful room, first of all. And then to play with those guys in that room, like, I was brought to tears a few times because I'd never recorded like that. And
there's something about getting in a room, you know, and playing with a bunch of musicians. You know, it's very rare these days that musicians that aren't on a top tier already get to go into a studio with really, really great musicians and actually perform. There's a lot of cut and paste. There's a lot of digital this. There's a lot of digital that. I'm sure that meant something.
Yeah,
How did you feel about that?
Yeah, I consciously wanted to kind of avoid the cut and paste overdubby way of doing it. Obviously, I'm going to be having some overdubs, but I wanted to feel guys in a room playing an album from start to finish on the same instruments, because I feel like I'm at my best when I'm live, and it loses something when it's all isolated.
It's true.
But yeah, and it was cool because these guys were of such a good caliber, and I'd done my online stalking of all of them, and I'd seen them playing with other people, so I knew what I was in for. But almost before we even introduced ourselves, we were playing a song, and I kind of met them through the songs, and it was it was cool to hear what they were doing in my ears, and I had this perfect mix in my ears, and I could do that forever. If that was my job forever, I'd be very happy, but I don't have that kind of money, so that's where the Kickstarter comes in.
Absolutely. And you haven't started your Kickstarter yet, but I'm going to go ahead and put this up as a place where people can find out more about you. And, you know, I do want to get to a few of the questions because most of the time it's the people who write in that really make this show a little bit more interesting. A friend of mine, Casey Baker from North Texas, you know, the first thing she says, she's got kind of like a triple question here, and there's some really, really good stuff in it. A tough question that I know is really tough. She says, "What's an ideal budget to record on in Nashville?" And I'll take the first part of that and say it's very, very different for everybody. There is no one thing. Like, I don't know about you, but I couldn't just throw out a number and say that was the thing because, you know, if Blake Shelton is making a record, it's $1 million. If we're making a record, then it's significantly less.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it depends on the songs and how you want the album to sound, because Billy has made gorgeous records in his garage. But they have that kind of lo-fi sound and he's really quirky and he has cool production techniques. And whereas I wanted to hear a room and a band, and I wanted it to be like the best players I could find, and so that's going to cost a bit more because you have to rent the space. Makes it go up. Yeah, and so, but if I wanted a solo album, I don't need much of a budget for that. If I was just going to record me and a guitar, which could also be a beautiful album, so it's like, how long is a piece of string? But my answer is $10 million because that's. I want it to be
the ideal budget. That's a great
I don't
answer.
want limits. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a great answer because if you think about it, some really, really great records in the past, maybe Isbell and maybe some of the other guys that were recorded in that Cat's Basement in Nashville have done really, 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 really well because they had that kind of a feel where they were doing lo-fi things on purpose.
Yeah.
I recently was talking about this old Bonnie Raitt album. The very first Bonnie Raitt album was done like in like a barn kind of situation where everybody was in a room. It has that feel, it has that sound. That's what they were going for. Yeah. Then 20 years later, she's doing Nick of Time, and she's got the greatest studio musicians in the world, and Don Was, and it's every bit as good.
Yeah.
But it's kind of interesting because you kind of went. I wouldn't say for the middle ground, but you took a producer who's used to being in like, hey, I'm going to do things at my place and keep the cost down, and it's going to be like this. And you said, no, because that kind of goes to her other question. She says, were you supported to be independent-minded and control the vibe? Which is a definite thing in Nashville. And you already right there, you said, nah, I want to be in a room.
Yeah.
Which a producer's going to go, cool, well, then I can do that, So did you feel comfortable talking about your own ideas amongst these musicians who were...
Absolutely.
And that's a good thing.
I mean,
it's not always the case.
I took a trip to Nashville before we even started working on the songs just to, talk to Billy for 3 days. So he got a real idea of how I wanted the album to sound, what music I was into. We just played songs together. So... We were very much on the same page, and I knew that before even asking him to take the job. Like we'd met a couple of times, and I'd listened to everything he had done, and what I liked was it was all so different, and he kind of brought the best out of whatever that artist wanted. It's not like you're doing a Billy Harvey album, it's going to sound like this. It's going to sound like Billy Harvey. And then he had just finished a Crystal Bowersox album. And I'm not familiar with Crystal, but I listened to it, and that was in the Sound Emporium with a live band and a choir and a string section and everything. So he can do that, and he can do his albums in his bedroom, and he can do a pop album with Charlie Mars, and he can do a hard rock album like The Californian with Bob Schneider.
Exactly.
And what I thought was, he's going to see what I am and bring that out of me, and that's what impressed me about Billy. So
this is a really good thing to be telling people who are listening right now, is that a producer doesn't necessarily, in our mind, in your mind and in my mind, and we're not the same artist, but that a producer would... bring out the best in an artist, not necessarily make their record sound like a Billy Harvey record, and that's what you wanted out of them, and you feel so far very fulfilled about that. I think that's really good advice, because people think, well, what do I want out of a producer? And I think what you said was very sage. It's like, I want him to bring the best thing he can to my songs.
Yeah.
And bring the best thing possible. And another producer would make it sound completely different.
But it's a really important and scary decision, and there's a lot of trust involved, and you're handing over a lot of control to a guy. But within seconds of meeting Billy, I felt really comfortable around him and trusted him, and I liked the things he was saying, and I knew he was someone I wanted to be involved with. Yeah. And it's not to say, when I say it's not going to sound like a Billy Harvey album, that's not an insult to his music, because I love his he has an album, Bear Sick, that blows my mind, the ideas he has in there. And so he's so creative, but that's not me, and everyone's going to be different, and I know I knew he could also do that thing. So he's a good guy to have. And to answer that budget thing again, I mean, it really doesn't matter what the budget is. It's nice to have a bigger budget no matter what, but one of my favorite albums in recent memory is that Bon Iver, his first, where he played everything in a cabin, using whatever software he had, and then you put that up against Chinese Democracy or something, which who knows how much money was pumped into that. I think the The budget, it really depends case to case.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer and a lot of knowledge right in there for the people who are listening along. Go back and listen to that whole thing. These will stay up as well as all my other interviews and all that kind of stuff, but some really great stuff. I think that leads us into this. If you're going to do a Kickstarter soon and you've done some stuff, would you be interested in playing one of the songs that was recorded, or would you be interested in are you saving those? A lot of people say don't play them. Do you mind playing one solo?
No,
because eventually we're gonna hear how it's reimagined later. You know?
Yeah, and that's kind of a worry for me because all the songs I've been playing since March, all of them, like the minute I wrote them, because we've taken to live streams now, so
yeah,
every song I write is getting showed to my audience, and it's kind of scary because people might have an attachment to the songs in their acoustic solo form, and I'm worried about, because you know yourself, you get attached to rough demos and then you hear a band and it's hard to get used to hearing it a new way. And
we often call it chasing the demo.
Chasing the demo, and I'm so guilty of that. And so I hope I haven't kicked myself in the ass by playing all the songs acoustically all these months, but we've had to survive, so that's what I've been doing. And
well, let's hear one. I'd love to hear one. And everybody, once again, my guest here is Pat Byrne. Go ahead and play something for us, my brother.
Thanks. This is one I've written. I wrote this in March, just when the shitstorm began. This is Capsize. It's 1:30. It's midday sun. Let's just get away. It's a midweek holiday. It's a case of wine. Name your place and time. It's not security. It's not stability. I don't have money. No place, no plan. But it's better than a smooth ride. Better than waiting for low tide. Better than watching from ringside. Better than taking the fall. Better than missing every sunrise. Trying not to capsize. It's better than a compromise. Better than nothing at all. Hey. I'm easy, I'm slow, I can be lazy, I know, but I'm right where I wanna be. So spare me the third degree. I'm the ripple in your drink. I'm a smile that's out of sync. I'm the rainbow at your funeral. I speak in Roman numerals. I'm almost inconsumable. My parachute's on fire, but it's better than a smooth ride. Better than waiting for low tide. Better than watching from ringside. Better than taking the fall. Better than missing every sunrise. Trying not to capsize. Oh, it's better than a compromise. Better than nothing at all. Hey. But you know, like I know, I'm the bottom of the pyramid. I'm socially inhibited, I'm headstrong, but it's a heavy load when the wolves are at the door. But it's better than a smooth ride. Better than waiting for low tide. Better than watching from ringside. Better than taking the fall. Better than missing every sunrise. Trying not to capsize. It's better than a compromise. better than nothing at all. So much better than a smooth ride, better than waiting for low tide, better than watching from ringside, better than taking the fall, better than missing every sunrise, trying not to capsize. Much better than a compromise, better than nothing at all, better than nothing at all, better than nothing at all.
Yeah! All right. Everybody in your emojis and on your chat, go ahead and give some praise for that song. We can't wait. There's 1,000 ways you could do that song and not mess it up. That's what our buddy Miles says. I was writing with Miles Zuniga, Fastball Resentments, all that. I gave him this line the other day, and or a little a melody, and he's like, "Oh God, we can write that in 10 minutes. All we have to do is not mess it up."
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that's one of those songs, man. Don't mess it up. Hey,
Miles showed me that song actually that you guys wrote, and it's amazing. It's such a good song. One? The Island. Sorry, what?
Oh, The Island of Me. Yeah.
Island of Me. Man,
that's one
great.
of our new ones on Patreon. Thanks. We wrote another one too. We ended up doing 2 last month, so we were busy. But more on you. We have, for the very first time on 20 Question Tuesdays here on Austin Music Television and all these places all over the interwebs. Thanks for all those emojis and fires and all those. We have, for the very first time, we have a special guest who's a surprise, who's coming in. And I don't know if you can you see him right now, by the way? Do you see him on your screen?
Me, no.
Oh, that's even better. You don't even know who this is. Well, we're going to welcome him all the way from Ireland. It's Stephen Carroll. Say hello, everybody.
Surprise!
Hey, Steve.
What's up?
Go ahead. Say your hellos, boys.
Stephen Carroll.
We were just on the phone to each other like an hour ago, myself and Pat.
Oh, so you kept it under your hat. I'm so impressed.
Yeah, it's not the biggest surprise ever. Has much changed since you last spoke, Pat?
We were texting. Me and Steve text very regularly, and we send explicit voice notes to each other.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
This is a surprise, though, Jeff. I think you're misunderstanding. I'm surprised that he's here. I'm just not. It's not like, whoa.
I can't believe this person is here.
Surprised
I wanted to bring him
too.
here. Well, I wanted to bring him here because a couple of reasons. You guys have played a lot of music together over the years, and Stephen has gone back, across the pond, so to speak, and kind of gotten out of the craziness for a little bit. Is it a little bit less crazy where you're at, Stephen?
Yeah, it's pretty nice here, I have to say. I mean, we still have some cases in Ireland. I think there's like 1,000 cases in the whole country. Hasn't been any deaths in about. Kind of similar.
Similar to what's going on in Canada. I apologize to Pat already, but a lot of times on these things with the technology, I end up interrupting a lot. It's mostly because
don't worry. But I actually played a gig the other day to a live audience, which was a first for me since like last March. So music is slowly creeping back, and I was able to get paid, and I was able to play for a couple of hours to some folks. So, I mean, that's I think that's something that's maybe not a thing back where you guys are. So that's one plus.
I think you and I, as ambassadors, me right now being in Canada and you right now being over in Ireland, the idea being that it doesn't have to be this way, and if everybody takes it seriously, it will go away. You just have to take it seriously. It's not going to go away on its own. It's going to go away through social distancing. It's going to go away through wearing your dang mask. It's going to go through these things that are not, it's not an infringement on your personal freedom. It just means that, I played a social distance gig about 2 weeks ago, and it was outdoor and everybody was in pods. Nobody was worried about anything, and it's the same thing,
Yeah. I mean, Ireland had a very, very, very strict lockdown for 2 months. I mean, from before St. Patrick's Day till the 1st of June, Ireland was in a complete lockdown, stay at home, don't leave your house, and that's the way it was. And my family and my brothers are still working from home. So I mean, while
They're still
we're
taking it seriously.
yeah, but I'm able to meet up with my friends, no guilt, no stress, no face masks even, you know, as long as everyone admits, look, I've been responsible, let's hang out with each other, then that's fine, and there's no guilt there whatsoever. And then if you're going to the local bar, you wear your face mask into the pub, they bring you to your seat, you take off your mask, and they'll give you table service all night, and you can just drink all night, and there's no guilt, and there's no danger. So
we need
the
folks in this. Yeah, we need the folks in the States to know that if they do things right and a little bit of leadership, then things are going to get a little bit better.
Yeah, well, leadership is key, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like in the States, it's a long way away from normal live gigs happening. So. Yeah, a little bit jealous of Steve having that proper gig the other day, but
things will get sorted out in November, I think, hopefully for America.
Well, let's hope so. Let's all make sure we vote. So Jack Keeshan says, saw them play in Kilkenny, great chemistry. I love me some Kilkenny. I love that festival. You guys know Jack Keeshan. He said earlier.
Yeah. Did Jack open up for you, Pat, that night?
That night, Jack's a great songwriter from Tipperary.
Yep, he says hello from Tipperary, Ireland.
Hello, Jack. Thanks for being
Jack.
here.
Hayden, our buddy Hayden Lindsay says, you've done it again, Pat, with that last song. So,
thank you, Hayden. I was in Hayden's house yesterday. I recorded some harmonies for him and helped him with his mic placement. It's sounding great. You did the track, and it's sounding...
Yeah. Well, that's another thing about being creative that I recommend to a lot of people. You know, get thinking outside the box of things that you can do and send over the internet now, as far as writing, as far as doing a show, as far as recording a demo for somebody who doesn't necessarily have the money to go in the studio. You know, all those things are really, really fun things that Steven could do.
I just sent some
help with.
I just sent some tracks to Stephen this morning that he's week gonna put some guitar on. So
now we're talking. I was really hoping that was gonna say. I was hoping you were gonna say that.
He's gonna rescue them.
I think a lot of people are going to be really, really happy that the two of you are doing some stuff together. You know, with regards to this. So, and I
hope to do more when we're in the same country as well. That would be nice.
Fair enough. Yeah. That's fair enough.
There's people actually inquiring here, Pat, about when you will come back, because there were some people actually reaching out looking to book myself and yourself. But I said you were still over in Texas. And that you'd found love, so your chances of coming home are slim at the moment.
Yeah, well,
they're not asking about me yet. I'm surprised.
After this, they will.
I'm surprised.
No, I would love to be in Ireland. I miss my family a lot. It's been over a year since I've been back, but I live with my girlfriend here, and I am in the middle of doing this album. And if I leave now, the chances of getting back in this year are very slim.
Well, we can't.
It'll be next year too. Yeah, it'll be next year before I can go home, I think.
Yeah, it'll probably be next year before I'm back. Yeah.
All three of us are going to have to do this, but it's awkward, but isn't it? I think we're all very, very lucky that we're able to do this at all. And the technology was there, we just didn't jump on it. And now it's like we're really, really using it as best we can, whether it's writing, playing shows for people. I'm doing one of those happy hour concerts today. I'll do my live stream tonight. We're all doing those things. Are you live streaming, Stephen, right now over from there?
I live streamed my gig actually the other night, so I played to a live audience, but I was also able to stream it to the folks in America, you know, who mightn't have the luxury of going to see live music at the moment. And that was actually great because I put down some tipping links and I was able to make myself some extra money as well as the fee on the gig, which was really great, you know. And then obviously with the EULA residency, we play before yourselves every Sunday. And there's a bit of a time difference. So if I'm first up for the EULA song swap, I can go live because it's at 11:30 at night time. But if I'm last up, that's at 1:30 at night. So I pre-record that one. And because Andrea is such a whiz with the computer, she's able to still broadcast it as if it were live, but it's actually a pre-recorded video. So that's great.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant for sure. Yeah. You got to watch the 11:30 though. You've forgotten. People in Texas don't know that. You know.
11:30.
There you go. We got to speak Texan whenever we need to. Well, Stephen, I'm super glad. You don't have any other questions for Pat before you go? I just wanted you to
don't let him
ask. Hi.
Yeah,
I want him to ask. I want him to embarrass you.
I have so many questions that will never be answered, unfortunately.
So many questions.
Okay. I
just don't have the answers.
The answers are never satisfactory. It's why?
Oh, I love it.
All right, how do you get him out of here, Jeff? How do you get
I
him
can
out?
just do it. I mean, really, I can just do it. I can just hit the button and he's gone. It's kind of like the Gong Show. Steven, thanks so much for calling in.
Thanks,
And,
Steve.
we miss
See
you,
you all
brother.
again.
And we'll put
Thanks
some
for
links.
having me.
We'll put some links up so people can find you as well, bro.
Yes, thanks so much. See you guys
See you
soon.
soon, Steve.
Cheers.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
That was
That was
cool.
fun. Yeah, that was fun. I've never done the surprise guest before, so I love it.
I felt like I was on CNN there.
Yeah, right? Only just a little creepy. Peter Blackstock, our friend, says Irish eyes are smiling right now. And I love that.
Yeah.
There's some quotes, and some people are offering, hey, you should tip for that beautiful song, and da-da-da-da-da. Let's get back to some questions and what this show is really about. I really like another question Shane had. What was your favorite place to play so far, and where would you want to play? Who's thought about that? Like, when all this stuff changes, like, man, I haven't thought about that kind of thing in a while. I have favorite places, and so what are yours?
I kind of see my musical life as two phases. I was in Ireland until 2 years ago, and so I got to play some amazing venues in Ireland. I got to play the Olympia Theatre in Dublin and the Vickers Street in Dublin. Vickers Street was probably my best ever gig. I got to headline there. And
Tell me why. Why? Besides the fact that the venue is... Tell people so they don't know about Vickers Street as far as, like, the size of the venue, what kind of place it is.
How would I it's probably... Like, it's a bit smaller than the Moody Theatre here in Austin.
Which is where we do Austin City
Austin
Limits,
City Limits.
et cetera.
Yeah, it's a little smaller than that, but it has the same kind of prestige in Ireland, and it's like a really well regarded. It's one of our top venues. It's a beautiful room. I saw Paul Brady there just before I came here. I saw some of my favorite gigs in Vickers Street, and I'd grown up idolizing that place, and I got to play it in 2012, and that's probably been my best show. Like in my memory, that has felt like the biggest moment for me on a stage. But
You nailed it.
yeah, but my favorite gigs, like, that was a cool thing because of it was a high profile thing. But here, the venues here for me they're more special gigs. I mean, because I've been doing way more of my own music, and the fans here are so
Like
appreciative.
residencies? Or...
Well, I mean, just my favorite shows are in like the Saxon and the Mucky Duck and those rooms, you know. They're some of my favorite shows. So
They're
I
listening
feel
rooms, but they got some vibe, and you've got like regulars who really, really love what would you say, original music, and people doing their own versions of things. It's not common to a lot of other places.
I mean, when I first came here, it was just on holiday, and one of the first gigs I got to see was the Resentments. It was you and Miles and the guys, and I was blown away. I was like, wow, this just happens on a Sunday night, and the place is full, and people are loving this original music. And it was honestly like not ever seen. It was just magic. And then fast forward 2 years, and I'm rubbing shoulders with you, and we're getting to do the residency before you in the Saxon. And so like that's been just as special to me as playing Vickers Street. And you know, I love getting to play Green Hall once a month. And
right.
There's just
Green
so
Hall,
much history.
For those who don't know, that's Texas's oldest dance hall. And the first place where I ever did a Jeff Plankenhorn gig was Green Hall, and they said, hey, would you like to come play Green Hall? And I said, what's Green Hall? And I didn't know. And then I went and I played the front room, and then you get, you know, up and up and up. And it's such a beautiful, you play 4-hour gigs most of the time, which is insane, but you do it.
With no air conditioning.
With no AC. They have swamp coolers, which is just like a plastic baggie of water that's by a fan, and it's like, yeah, that doesn't do anything.
No.
But anyway, it's one of the greatest places to play. And, you know, it's definitely the case where the Resentments... Oh, I should mention, Resentments have a show on Sunday. I always forget about my own stuff. So, Resentments have a show on Sunday if you guys want to find out about that. Also, before I forget, Danielle says, I can't find a website for Steven. I'll keep looking. Just do his Facebook. That's good enough to put up in the comments. Once again, quick thanks to Austin Music TV, Sheila Steele, everybody there, and thanks to our guest Pat Byrne for being here.
My pleasure.
Yeah, man, this is really fun. I love having it. My friend Jana says, how do you keep up with creative habits during the crazy time? It seems like you've been kind of busy, so you haven't You know, I mean, maybe that's what do you usually do? You know, if you weren't working on records and you weren't doing that kind of thing.
Well, for me, it comes in waves. Like I can go 8 months without writing a song, and then I'll have 2 months where I write 10 songs, and that's been the case this year.
Yeah.
When it all happened, I was really good because I was living in Canyon Lake with my girlfriend, and I spent a lot of time just writing. And as I said, maybe it's not 6, but definitely half of the album are songs that I've written in the last few months, and I'm good at just when I'm feeling that creative energy, I'm good at locking myself away and just doing it in like a week, constantly just writing. But I'm not good at waking up and sitting down and spending from 9 to 1. I'm gonna write songs. It doesn't happen like that for me. I wish it did, because that would be satisfying and I'd feel more productive. But some days I'll wake up and I'll be like, right, I have an idea for a song, and then it will happen. But you know, Paul Simon gets up at 7 every morning and writes until 1, and then that's it. And it's like going to work for him, which is amazing, and I'm jealous of that kind of process.
There's a lot of folks out there. The one thing I've learned about reading about different writers is that nobody does it the same. And I have a lot of people that kind of pushed me over the years. Ted Lundgren says Guinness is what helps you, by the way. Which is fair. But I've done a fair amount of reading, you know, lately, like in the last 6 months, about different songwriters and stuff, because I was curious. None of them do it the same way. None of them. And there would be cats that I would be like, ooh, that's a lot like me. And then there'd be cats where I was like, oh, there's no way I could do that. And for some of them, it seems like a real 9 to 5 kind of thing. And for some of them, it feels like I don't force inspiration, you know, and that kind of thing. For instance, for years, I don't know if anybody's pushed you to do these things, but people always try and get me in these song games. And they do a song a week. Billy Harvey's been in Bob's for 15 years. They write a song a week. Oh, it's terrifying for me.
I can't
It's terrifying. Yeah. But then when I got my Patreon going, it was like, okay, I could do 1 original and 1 cover a month and make them great. And I was like, that works. All of a sudden, I'm writing way more than, you know, 1 song a month. And you just kind of find your niche, you know. And I think that
with every year that goes by, I find myself looking back on the year, and I've written more songs that year. So it's like,
that's nice.
I'm getting better, and I know I'm getting more prolific, and I think I'm in a bit of a sweet spot now. I feel really good about the last batch of songs I've written, and I have to be alone. Like, there's lots of things I need. I have to be alone, and I have to be in the right frame of mind and have no distractions. And
are you a clean room or a messy room writer?
That doesn't really matter. I'm quite a messy person, so it's generally a messy room. But I don't think if it was a clean room, it would hold me back. I probably should be clean.
You never know. Some people like stuff stacked up in notebooks, and some people like, you know, voice memos on their phone, and some people like this and some people like that. I think the best thing is to just keep doing it. Yeah. You know, and that it is a craft. You know, anybody who told me, because I was so down on myself as a side person about writing, and like, who's going to listen to it? And then I remember, here's my first name drop of the show. Ray Wiley was like, where's your proof? And I said, what do you mean? And he's like, are people coming to your shows? And I said, a few. And he's like, are people listening to you on the radio? I said, a little bit. He said, there's your proof. Shut up and write some songs. You know?
Absolutely.
And it's good advice. Before we get to some more questions, I do want to mention again this right here for Pat, and that soon you're going to be putting out a Kickstarter to fund this record that you did in Nashville with Billy Harvey and these incredible musicians during the pandemic, which is, you know, really, really, really cool. And I know everybody's excited about hearing it, but we did have a question that comes a little bit from Susan. It's a double question. Mm-hmm. Who's Pat's favorite resentment? And will you play Gray Skies Blue?
Yeah.
But you don't have to. You don't have to, because, you know,
I love
you do
Gray
the live
Skies Blue.
streams and stuff like that, and not necessarily a song you were going to do on the album or anything like that, but something that you like playing that's a friend's song.
It is a song that I plan to record because Miles has encouraged me to record it, and I love the song, and so I'll absolutely record it. I didn't write it; it's not even a co-write, but I remember Miles. I don't know how it came out. He showed we were writing one day. I've been writing quite a bit with Miles, and he played me that song and asked if I'd sing it, and I loved it immediately. So I've been doing it quite a bit, and I'm happy to play that. As for my favorite resentment, that's an impossible. The resentments for me were like celebrities when I got here first, because I loved, and now I've gotten to know you all, which is lovely. But I can't pick a favorite.
You see behind the curtain, and you know we're all dorks. It's just the way it happens.
I know you're all dorks.
Don't look at the man behind the curtain. Once you do, it's over. It's the same thing happened with my poor wife, you know.
But it's so inspiring though, because when I first got here, I was like, I would love to be in their position. I'd love to have people want to come out and spend money to hear me singing. And I still feel that way. But now I'm kind of getting to do it a bit, which is amazing. It's nice to get to know you and realize you're all coming from the same place as me. You grew up loving music. You started writing, it's not a madly different story. And so that's been really inspiring, getting to know people like you who are doing exactly what I want to do, and you're just normal people as well.
Well, we feel the same. Miles says, "Speak for yourself," and Danielle Williamson says, "100% dorks." So Miles is here right now. Hey, buddy, we've been talking about you, Miles. I know you're not gonna go back and watch, but we've been talking about you. And thanks for that link right there. But hey, since Miles is here, if you feel like doing it, you know, they'll probably throw a little something extra in the jar.
Is it sounding okay?
Susan already has. Susan, you don't have to. Oh, it sounded good. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Everybody, I think the sound is great, right? Doesn't matter. You play great, you sing great. All right, everybody, here's a song.
I'm gonna take these off.
Pat Byrne.
Okay.
Make the coffee, make the bed, wipe the dusty cobwebs from my head. And I think of you and all the things you do to make my gray skies blue. Hello again, Valentine, you drank up all my wine. But I don't mind, 'cause baby, I know you could make my gray skies blue. I start, I stop, I tie myself in knots. I'm here, you're there. Well, who says life is fair? It's just your voice on the phone, and I'm living in the wrong time zone. And you're so far away, but baby, I know you could make my gray skies blue. I start, I stop, I tie myself in knots. I'm here, you're there. Well, who says life is fair? It's just your voice on the phone, and I'm living in the wrong time zone. And you're so far away, baby, I know you could make my gray skies blue. Yeah, baby, I know you could make my my gray skies blue.
Yeah, everybody put in your clap emojis and your on fires and all that stuff for Mr. Pat Byrne, everybody, and really, really, really beautiful version of that Miles Zuniga song. Mark, here, I'm going to try something that I've never tried before. I'm going to do this. Mark says, let's see if this works. Oh, look at that. Mark says, this makes my heart soar like a hawk.
Oh, cool.
And Miles Zuniga says, nice.
very Miles reaction.
Very Miles. There was a time when I've been watching, I was watching a live stream with Miles and Scrappy, and after every song, I signed in as not Jeff Plankenhorn. I signed in as Nick Steele, of course. And after every song, I would put, not bad. Just like every single song, everybody be like, that was beautiful. Nick Steele, not bad. So it's good.
Right.
We get to. What's really, really nice about what we're doing is, we get to get on here and get these beautiful questions, but we also get to mess around with everybody. Miles says, "Don't smile. People will think you're making money." Bob Livingston says, "Great song." Oh, it's nice to have you here, Bob. Nice to hear. Oh, George Webster says, "What song was that?" That's "Gray Skies Blue" by our friend Miles Zuniga. And who's here? Miles is from Fastball and also from The Resentments, and for some reason he hangs out with both of us every once in a while.
Yeah, there's a song on the album that's coming up that me and Miles wrote as well. We wrote In Marfa together.
Right.
Last year.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, I have a couple of co-writes on the album, which is cool, because co-writing is something I wasn't that comfortable with before, and then the first successful ones probably were with Miles, which made me a whole lot more comfortable writing around other people. And then I wrote a song with Jamie Harris and a song with Ben Jones, and so...
Isn't it funny? That, this would be a good thing for you to mention for folks, because I get questions on here a lot. People on here get questions a lot about co-writing. My thing is that it's different with everybody, and that there are people that I love their music, but I've tried to co-write and it just doesn't work. Right. And then I have other people that, I just can't believe. And then sometimes they're not even, musicians I co-write. But your experience with co-writing, it sounds like what you're saying, you were nervous about it and it got better. Was it just through time and doing it?
Yeah, and definitely what you're saying makes sense. Doing it with the right people who you're comfortable around, you can have a good time with, and you don't mind bearing yourself to.
Right.
I had a terrible experience co-writing when back in 2012, I released an album that I love it, but it's out there, and it was completely co-written, and I only came to writing very recently. So that album was pretty much written for me, and I found it very hard to open up. But recently, the more I've written myself and the more confident I feel about writing, the better the co-writings become. So, but yeah, it depends who you're doing it with.
Yeah, and I think that also too. Hey, Bert, Albert Bestero from Del Castillo and from the Night Mothers. Good to see you, brother. Nice, we got all stars here watching again today. I feel like co-writing and producers, it's very easy for them to kind of take over. Yeah. And when you find someone who's willing to tell you, you go, like John D. Graham one time, he said, once in a while you just have to look at the person you're co-writing and saying, I think you can dig a little deeper. And I like that. You could dig a little deeper, like maybe you want to dig a little deeper on that line, Jeff, or somebody like that. That's a great way to say it without saying, nah, that line sucks.
Absolutely.
Whereas Miles would say that line sucks.
Yeah, but Miles
I find
to me
writing with him pretty awesome, though.
I find Miles one of the funniest people I've ever met, and so when he says something like that, it doesn't offend me.
No, it's fun.
Yeah, Miles is just hilarious, and he is unapologetically Miles, and so I love that about him. And if he shuts something down, it's just funny,
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, the three people I mentioned who I wrote with for this album, it was all it just flowed so easy. I became really good friends with Ben since moving here, so that was just really nice to sit down and we banged out the song in 2 hours, and it's one of my favorite songs on the album. And then Jamie, who I had just met but I'd heard so much about, I was actually nervous about that because I was like, I'd listened to her stuff and I was a fan of hers, and she's got this gorgeous voice, but we just got on really well. We hit it off, and we wrote the song really quickly too, and she's going to sing on that song. That's going to be a duet on the album, which I can't wait to do.
That doesn't stink. We're talking with Pat Byrne, everybody, and as you can see from this little guy right here, I want to thank you again. Before we end up going off the air, because there's no cue or anything like that, it's in about 3 minutes, I want to extend one more thank you to Austin Music TV. It's channel 16 on your big screen in Austin, and it's channel 99 on ATT-Uverse. Of course, you can... they have the Facebook page as well, and they do like videos, and they do all sorts of programming all week long, and they're just adding more and more and more right now, and it's really, really hip. I really love having that. And I also really want to thank Peter Blackstock and Austin 360 and the Statesman for putting 20 Question Tuesdays on the cover today, and my From Here to There, which is tonight at... what is it, 9 p.m. Central, I think? I don't know. I'm at a different time tonight, so please watch. So that's really, really great. And I should also mention before we go offline, next week is Nakia. The week after is Ruthie Foster. The week after that's Carolyn Wonderland. And the week after that is Ray Wiley Hubbard. So I couldn't get anybody good this year, this month, and I'm just going to slum it for the rest of the month. Pat, you were the beginning to an awful month. Okay, so 9 p.m. is my show. Thank you, Danielle, I appreciate that so much.
Congratulations, by the way, on the residency of the month. That's great. I feel
pretty
very lucky with the slot that I got here.
Yeah, oh, jeez, come on. It's a joy for me to talk to you, man, because I was a fan before I became your friend, and I support you in everything that you do.
Thank you.
Let's see. Oh, Pat Byrne, who is not you, says, "Great show, guy. Well done."
That's
Who
my
might
dad.
That be?
My dad hasn't missed a stream since March, and neither has my mom.
Oh,
They're
man.
both watching, and I did like a gig in Anderson Fair a few months ago, where there was like 10 people allowed at the venue, and it was streamed. And it was like 5 a.m. at home when it was streamed, or 4 a.m. and they set an alarm. I got up and watched it and went back to bed. They just will not, even though it's like a lot of the same songs, they're not going to miss a second. So I'm lucky with my parents.
I get some support from mine as well, and feel pretty lucky about it. And especially my outlaws here. My in-laws don't like to be called my in-laws here in Canada. They're called my outlaws,
Right.
which is pretty great. So my mom outlaw and my dad outlaw, they love to see shows and stuff too. Oh yeah, Miles is doing a live stream tonight. He says kids at 7 p.m. I like the way you snuck that in there, Miles. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. And thanks to everybody who follows my Patreon as well. Miles and I have a couple of songs on there that just came out today, and man, I'm getting some really great reviews on it. It's really happening. So, Pat, is there anything else you want to mention before we go off? It's about 30 seconds.
The main thing is that my album's coming out, and the Kickstarter is being launched on the 16th of September. So stay tuned. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, we'll see you guys, everybody, online. We're going to stay online for a little bit after we get off on Austin Music TV and make sure we answer all the questions that we need to. And we're off in 5, 4, 3, 2. Bye, Pat. Bye, Pat. Bye, everybody. All right. Now, I believe we are offline. Let's see. No, we're off cable, but we're still online. So, a couple of things. Mark wants to know. We'll just go through a couple more questions if you still have some time.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. We want to make sure everybody online gets their questions. Oh, Danielle, thanks for putting up Pat's website and his Facebook. Now that we are offline, we can do calls to action, so please go there. Please check it out. Please be ready, you didn't say
Did
no.
I say something about my
No,
Kickstarter?
you're good.
All
You're
right,
good. You're
we're
good. No, we didn't say anything bad online. You got to watch that, though, because the FCC will come down on those public stations. We love them. Danielle says you can now use profanity if needed. Well, we'll bring Steven back for that. Bonita, I'll see you tonight, too. Bert, great to see you, the original Beto. Let's see. Okay, so I like Mark's question. Does Pat read reviews of his own work?
it's not like there's hundreds of reviews, so I have read the reviews that there are, and thankfully they're good. Thankfully there haven't been bad reviews. But like, you know, we're talking about maybe 10 reviews. So after this album, ask me. I would certainly be affected negatively, I think, by a bad review. I think it would crush me, so.
I'm getting a smidge of distortion. Is everybody hear Pat still well? Somebody out there let me know if the sound is still fine. It's probably just my dang earbuds. Anyway, I could hear what you were saying, but it was a little robot. If anybody's hearing robot, let us know. Oh, sounds great still. Okay, so we're still okay. Thank you, Adrian, for that. Once again, Adrian. ATX Quintero. Follow him over on Twitch, and we love him for all of the art and for the jams on Sunday mornings. Bam! All right, cool. And then let's see, another couple questions right quick. Let's see. Oh, our good friend Kate Howard says, you know, if this music thing doesn't work out, which it will, so you needn't worry. She's always using the Queen's English too. So you needn't worry. Have you ever considered pursuing a career in dance?
No. I actually, in my school where I grew up in Boris, it was compulsory to do Irish dancing. So everyone had to do it until they were 12 years old. And I was one of the only guys that like took it seriously, and I won a lot of medals for Irish dancing. But I'm not good at all. I just was one of the only ones that took it seriously. And then I completely stopped. But with a few drinks in me, you wouldn't believe what my hips are capable of. So maybe Kate, although I'm hoping music will work. And hello, Kate, as well, by the way. Good to have you here.
Hey, don't mind me. I was just trying to reset my earbuds and see if I could get it going. Somebody says beast mode. That's a good question. You know, I've caught a little bit of your dance in a couple of your what do you call them? The posts that you've done, and I saw some for sure Irish dancing influence. But I've also seen some good. There's some good videos of Pat that you guys can see. Maybe I don't know if they're on your personal page or what, but we do have some of the heavy metal drumming. And we also have a really, really great one that I was going to show, but I couldn't figure out how to format it right. That was your first year drinking in college. So, you're just like kind of hanging out, and you're taking a towel over your head, and then you just kind of bite it. It's great.
Yeah, so we were doing, the Kickstarter's happening, and we're making like a promo video, and my friend Des, who's putting the video together, asked if I had footage of me playing music as like a teenager. So I was scrolling all the way back to the beginning of my Facebook and came across this video someone got of me falling down at a party. And the fall takes like 5 seconds because there was beer all over the floor. I remember it so clearly. The floor was just covered in beer. It was my first week of college, and I was dancing and lost my footing. But the fall was, I thought, very graceful and beautiful, and I had like a towel in my hand which tracked the movements as I fell, and almost broke my spine. So you can check that out on my Facebook page if you want to see it.
Hey, you guys might hear an echo for a minute because my earbuds are going crazy. I don't know if I didn't charge them or what, but I can hear you now. Like I said, this is going to be the least professional thing you do all day, but it might be one of the most fun.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, thanks, man. Peggy Ann Jones says, what do you miss about Ireland?
The people of Ireland are like nowhere else. We have the best people. It's like the sense of humor of Irish people doesn't exist anywhere else.
It's not dry like the blokes in England. It's a different kind of thing.
It'll hurt your feelings if you're not sure what's happening. So you have to be surrounded by Irish people to truly let your hair down. Yeah, you need some thick skin.
You must have thick skin, and it's lovely that way.
The pubs in Ireland, like that sounds cliche, but the pubs in Ireland are the best in the world. I miss being able to go for a pint in a nice, warm, cozy, lovely pub with a fire lighting and some musicians playing in the corner. That's something I miss. I miss my family, and
there's a coziness to a pub in Ireland for sure.
There is,
right?
But I love living here. Like I feel at home here already, and you know, I can't wait to get home and see everyone, but also I'm very glad to be living here. So you've been to Ireland a few times then?
I have. And really enjoyed it, and not just saying that. We'll talk a little bit offline about these things. But I should say
PG-13.
Yeah. The being a man of two countries is kind of a wonderful place to be. I get to come to Canada and enjoy the benefits, and people can joke about healthcare, but that's true. We should have healthcare in the States. We will eventually. It's just a matter of time. All of the other countries have it, so we should. But, I get to enjoy, there's a lot of things that change the minute I get back. Like, the fact that everybody says sorry here is really a thing, like, if I bump into somebody, not only do I say sorry, but they say sorry.
Yeah.
And then I get back to Texas and I bump somebody and I say sorry and they're like, "What are you sorry for?" But
it's so true.
It's not a mean thing. It's just all of a sudden you are. It's a different kind of thing, and I know for sure that it's not, because my outlaws that I mentioned earlier, when they go back to Texas, they talk about how polite everybody is, and these are Canadians, and it's like, it's really, really a beautiful thing to. It's just that thing about travel and loving where you're from, but loving where you're getting, and it's a beautiful thing about the world we live in.
I love the people here. I think the people here are so friendly and welcoming, and I've been on the receiving end of some amazing generosity. I can't believe it. So I love the people here. But what you're saying about that sorry thing, it's just a vocabulary thing as far as I'm concerned. In Ireland,
yes.
you'll say sorry instead of excuse me. Like if I bump into someone, I say, "Oh, sorry." And here people are shocked. They're like, "Oh no, please don't worry about it." Whereas
sorry.
You're not expecting anything. You're just saying sorry. But yeah, I come up against that a lot. Yeah.
I bumped you, or you bumped me, and I'll still say sorry.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, sorry. And here it's sorry, of course, sore. But and it's little things that you love about those kind of things that just teach you about people, and it's a beautiful thing, a lucky thing. Ted Lundgren says, "Jeff, and are you and Pat ignoring all of my questions on purpose?" The answer to that's yes.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. Ted does have one really, really great question, and probably the good thing for a manager to ask. What are your professional goals over the next few years, both if locked down and if open up?
And professional goals. I mean, I'm really excited. Right now, I don't think about goals as much. I'm just consider myself very lucky to be able to survive off playing music. And so I hope that continues, first of all. But I'm really excited about this album, and I hope it will allow me to do more touring, maybe get like a nice support slot and get in front of more people. I'm in a situation where I need to keep achieving and moving up if I want to renew my visa and prove to the government that it's worthwhile having me here. So there's pressure to kind of keep, on the up curve. But
I can think of some stuff that people could do right now if they're listening and they want to help you by following you on all the things. We need people to follow us on Spotify, whether they pay us or not, because it looks good. Clubs want to look at it and they want to see. So going to places where you have music, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, any of the things, following somebody, getting involved in their career on the level of being a supporter or being a patron is a huge thing you can do to literally help Pat stay in the country long term, and to help you. And that kind of thing goes a really, really long way. And some people say, well, I don't have money to do your Patreon. Fine. If you or a $5 a month thing, or you are an avid fan, or you take their posts and you share them.
Yeah.
This little show, when it gets shared, or one of your live streams when it gets shared on somebody else's and they start a watch party, all of those things contribute to long-term success more than necessarily like paying $10,000 to a publicist, which you have to do as well.
I mean, that's more valuable to me. It's an uncomfortable thing to ask people for money every week. Without doing that, I can't eat food or pay rent, so I have to do that. But I'm not expecting, if people can't afford, I mean, that's really aimed to people who have money to...
Right.
So people who can't, it's more valuable to me to just save my music on Spotify or subscribe to my YouTube and just share my videos. If you like them, I don't, it's not, I'm not looking for charity. I just want, if you're a fan and want to support that's a great way to do it, and an easy way.
And that reminds me, too, that as usual, we are always splitting the tips on this show. It helps me keep the thing going, and I like to make sure that my guest gets a little bread. So we split this. There's that if you guys want to help us out, and there's links to it on all of the pages and things like that. And it really does. And I feel the same way. When we started this, I wanted it to be free for people to not feel like they had to put something in, but there's a lot of people who put something in, and that made me be able to get some equipment and start doing the show right and things like that. I would get a message sometimes from somebody who said, you know, I've only got $5 this week and I'm really sorry. And I mean, it broke my heart because I'm like, okay, well, you don't need to be doing it. You don't need to be doing it. If you got $5 and you can put it in to help the person who's doing a show, do it. Because it really, really does help us survive in this time. But please, please, please don't worry about it. If you're watching the show and you're on tough times right now, I want to play for you for free.
Exactly.
I really, really do. And there's a number of other things that you can do that help besides that.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the Kickstarter, I mean, it's the only option for me and for a lot of musicians because
to fund a record.
Yeah, you can't make money off selling music. It's just not. Unless you're touring constantly and selling 100 CDs every night, you're never going to make the money back. So, for me, if people want that, it's for the people who see value in my music and want to see it being made. If you could just buy it before I make it, that's really how I see Kickstarter. And
you're pre-buying it.
Yeah, you're just pre-buying the music, and it's allowing me to make it. And it's such an amazing platform and a great way to fund a record.
And you really do end up being part of it, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody says, does that work with Amazon Music? That's a good question. You know, it basically, I mean, if you pay, then we're going to get something, you know. And if you pay like a monthly subscription, chances are we're going to get 0.0003 cents per play. I still want you to be there. We still want you to put it on repeat when you go to bed, you know, and just turn down the volume, those kind of things. We need it. So go ahead and do it. But you have to buy it for us to actually make anything off of it. Bandcamp's really good. They're one of the best places to make money off music. You can still buy music on Apple Music, et cetera, et cetera. Dan Jason says, you just need to marry an American.
I'm halfway there.
Careful. Don't jinx, buddy. You got to be careful there. Okay, let's see. That was a great fall, Pat. Oh, the great fall on TV. Okay, I think we've gotten through most of the questions, so I just want to thank you guys all one more time. Tip jar's there if you got it. Next week is Nakia. Pat, I couldn't have had a better time. Stay on with me. I'm gonna say goodbye to you once we go off the air. To everyone, Austin Music TV, Sheila, Peter Backstock. Go check out that Austin Statesman article if you don't mind. Oh, Samantha just put in some crying, laughy faces right now. That's
she's in the emergency room. What are you doing, Samantha?
Anyway, thank you to everybody online. I'm really, really grateful to get to do this and talk to people like Pat. And one more time, to find him, this is where. And Pat, we'll see you soon.
Just before I go, I just want to mention that every Wednesday,
yes,
I'll be streaming from the Mucky Duck in Houston from 5 p.m. Central.
And
so tomorrow.
Our good friend Danielle has already put that in the chat, but I think that at the end of the chat, where some people, because you mentioned it right now, it's a good thing. If she gets a chance, she'll put it back in there, or you can put it later. Samantha says, ha ha ha, no, I'm finished, coming home. Brian Mendez says, love your Jamie Harris shirt. Yeah, this is one of my favorite. This is an old Jamie Harris shirt. I like to rock t-shirts of people that, you know, I try and look nice for my Later Tonight show, pretend, because it's just going to be in front of the bookcase. But I like to rock a good t-shirt of somebody I really dig during the show.
Nice.
Pat, thanks so much, man.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really fun. And we're all super excited about your record. We're all going to go to help when your Kickstarter comes out. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next week with Nakia and the rest of the month.